Hey, how's everyone doing? This video is going to be sort of an introduction to soldering. Right here in front of us, I have all the materials you're going to need, almost. Okay, so starting off, we'll talk about torches. So, however much money you got to spend, whatever kind of ambition you have to do this is going to depend on what kind of torch you get. Off the bat, I recommend starting with a torch like this that gets at least up to 2100 degrees Fahrenheit. This is a $50 torch. You can get it at Walmart, you can get it at gas stations, you can get it on eBay, you can get it from their site, you can get it on Amazon. There's tons of places you can get this. You can get this at Rio, they even sell this. And so when you get your torch figured out, you can either get that one or you get one like this. This is a Smith's little torch, oxyacetylene, oxygen acetylene. So the Smith's torch is an expensive setup. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a $600 setup. That's with a B tank for acetylene, an MC tank. You can shave 60 bucks off that price. But the oxygen tank is what's really going to kill you. They're expensive. So after you get your torch figured out, you're going to need some flux, okay? You're not going to use chemical flux, something that comes in a jar that looks similar to this, that's like a paste that you put on and it boils. You're not going to use that. You're going to use a borax bar, and you're going to use a ceramic dish. And the borax bars, they come bigger, I promise. This is what a brand new one looks like. So when you're ordering your borax bar and your ceramic dish, order extras of the borax bar because they are always out of stock. Always. This borax bar has lasted me approximately a year, but in the last 4 or 5 months, I've been doing this stuff every single day. So I'm guessing a cone for everyday work will last about 7 months. So after you get your borax, your flux, and so why we use the borax is because it cleans and it fluxes, and the bonus of this is it stands up to extremely high temperatures. I don't like the other chemical cleaners. They put a foul smell in your house. They burn your nose. And the borax is just a much better alternative, and I'm pretty sure that's the standard for jewelers. Like actual jewelers, they use borax. This is your solder. This will be medium solder strip, or this is sheet solder, sorry. And I have 3 grades here: easy, hard, and medium. You're going to want to start off with easy just because it's the lowest flowing temperature solder that they make. They make extra easy, but I don't do that. If you're if you want to do this, but you're really nervous about it, maybe try paste solder. It comes in a little syringe, and it has the flux, the cleaner, and the solder all in the paste. You don't have to do anything. You might want to sand your piece where you're joining it. To cut your sheet solder, you're going to need a solder shears. This is like a $12 all-around general purpose up to 24 gauge wire thickness, I think. And I've had these for over a year, and they're not even close to dull. You got your tweezers here. These are about $2 a pair for this brand, Blue Heron, the bird. So you're going to want to get a few kinds of these. They're really useful. If I can find my other pair, I don't see it. Anyways, you got the fine tip here. These are really good for using pallets of solder. If you're going to solder with a pick, these tweezers will work a little better than the pick. What I have wrapped around this side is some medium wire solder. I just started using it, and I love it, but I'm not going to recommend that you use wire solder to start off with because I had problems using it just a few days ago when I started. And I've been silver soldering for over a year now. So there's definitely some tricks involved with that. These are kind of like a fat-headed tweezers. Just they're more brutish. They can handle a little more pressure. And the other ones I have look like these, but they're fine points. and that's what I use for my inlays for putting stones in. These are called cross-locking parallel tweezers, I think. They're cross-locking, whatever they're called. Just search cross-lock tweezers. And so these have a special material here to absorb heat on both sides. As long as you don't touch this metal pin here, you won't burn yourself. And these are good for holding pieces up like that. If, say, you got jump rings on the jump ring, you can hang it off of here without messing up the other solder joints instead of having it lay flat on your solderite board. That's the next thing. You're going to want a soldering surface. This is a solderite or a vermiculite board. I'm not sure what the difference is. I bought the one that said it doesn't have asbestos or like harsh chemicals that put off fumes. Next, you're going to want some abrasive paper. This is emery paper. I prefer emery paper. It has a much more consistent grit than sandpaper, and it doesn't seem to gouge in the material. Next, you're going to want some copper just to play with, you know, with your silver soldering. Whatever you got works. Sheet copper. You can go get some copper tube. I've scrapped a bunch of coax cable for like the television sets, and I made necklaces off of those. So this whole bag of chains is made from coaxial cable. Some of them are soldered, and that's kind of how I started learning, was just by making copper chains. There's so many designs you can do with jump rings, it's ridiculous. And so these are basically just the bare essentials you're going to need. And you're also, this is I think the last thing up here, pickle. This is the first pickle I've bought. I've made my own. This stuff works much better than homemade pickle. I think it works pretty good. I don't know, I haven't used other pickles to compare it to, but here's the brand. Here's the item number, if you want to look it up. I think that's the same item number they would use. But this is the only pickle I found off of Rio Grande where you don't get charged more for shipping. I think it's because this is food grade. This pickle is food grade, so it doesn't have to be labeled as a hazardous material as to where the others do. Kind of like how a phone has to have a hazardous label on it because of the lithium battery. Anyways, so the next step, I'm going to show you guys soldering.